Next one, we got Zach. Very underrated, interesting game here.
It's
Maryland
this is an
at.
excellent matchup.
This is an excellent matchup. Maryland at UCLA. UCLA favored by 3.5 in this one. Maryland, the over under set for 52.5. And I'm really interested to see how this one plays out because this Maryland team has just lost two incredibly disappointing games at home. Comeback victories by the other team in the fourth quarter. Washington was down by almost. I think no, they were down by almost 20. I think it was 20-30 when they went into the fourth quarter in that one. And then Nebraska just had a 10-point comeback in the fourth quarter in their game against them. Incredibly disappointing for Maryland, but they do have the opportunity here. Get out of the home stadium, get on the road, kind of put all that noise behind them, and go to a UCLA team that looks good right now. But at the same time, this is the same UCLA team, different coaches, but same UCLA team that lost to New Mexico and to UNLV, teams that they should not have been losing to. Nico Iamaliava has looked different. Jerry Neuheisel has done a better job of play calling. Tim Skipper, need to give him credit for the way he's leading this UCLA team. But Mike Locksley said in the last press conference after the game, he said, this is not the same old Maryland. This is a new Maryland. And I think if he wants to back that up, they need to win this game against
Yep.
UCLA because I don't think the fans are going to believe it unless they come out with a victory here this week or maybe their next game, but probably this game is the one they need to do it.
Yeah, and I think you have youth on the side of Maryland, which is both can help you and hurt you. On one hand, the youth kind of helps because they don't really care about the past with Maryland, right? It's not same old, same old. It's like they don't know the same old. So it's like it doesn't really matter. But they're prone to make uncharacteristic mistakes because they're young. So I think it's not my position battle, but I do think that's one thing to watch. And part of my position battle has to do with the youth, but I think that is just something to consider, especially with Malik Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he has looked more poised than a typical freshman, but he's still a freshman.
Right. My position battle in this one is I thought about going with Malik Washington, but I'm actually going to go with the Maryland defensive line, specifically the edge rushers and some of those outside linebacker types that they have versus UCLA's quarterback. And I'm also going to hedge in there the other rushing pieces as well. Look, Maryland's defensive line did a great job of containing Damon Williams in that game. They had constant disruption in the backfield, and they did a good job of being able to cut off some of his lanes. When Damon tried to get away, they were not there most of the time. Now, he still got his. He still had over 50 yards of rushing in that game, but they did a much better job of containing him than most other teams have done. Ohio State, obviously, is the one that did the best job there, but this is also a UCLA offensive line that was better last game. Only 4 quarterback pressures on Nico Iamaliava. I think the biggest thing here is that to me, Nico is more experienced than Damon Williams. Damon Williams, great, but he's still young, right? He's still trying to find his way. He's still trying to find a good way to be able to still look downfield, also to be able to carry the ball and have the threat of the throw still with the threat of the pass, some of that stuff. He does a good job with it, but I think Nico has mastered this a little bit, at least the past few games when we've seen him. So I think it's going to give this Maryland defensive line, their edge rushers, a lot of fits in this one because there's going to be times it looks like where they have him hemmed in. They say, oh, we got Nico, and then Nico's just going to make some kind of play to get himself out of it, whether it's a throw or a pass or something, and it's just going to frustrate Maryland. What's your possession battle?
I think you read my list.
Oh,
That was mine. But I'll give another key, which is I think combined with that DL, I think Jalen Husky and that secondary, can they hold coverage on Quasi Gilmer and those
Mikey
receivers?
Matthews and those dudes, yeah.
Yeah, because if they can hold coverage and force Iamaliava to scramble and that they can actually hold the contain, like that would be a good win for that defense.
Yeah, it needs to happen if Maryland wants to win this one. I think Maryland has a really good shot. I think Malik Washington's a good quarterback, but I still am concerned about those wide receivers. It still haunts me that Malik Washington made the throw to win that game against Washington, but
Washington.
the wide receiver just dropped it. And it's to me, it's like what are you gonna do? It's just it's how it's going, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna pick UCLA in this one. They just look like the better team right now. They look better coached. They look better disciplined. They're actually been pretty good in run defense the past couple weeks. They kind of struggled with that at the beginning. They've been just playing much more downhill and kind of you can tell they're just playing more free out there. And I think that's one of the things that kind of gets overlooked sometimes when you get these interim head coaches. Players can just start playing more free. They get the pressure off of themselves and they start going out there and playing free, playing fast. And that's why I have UCLA winning this one. Close game, 31-28.
We have a very similar score, but different teams.
You have Maryland winning.
I do.
Mm.
I've said it. I'm much more of a believer in Maryland than I've ever been, and I think a lot of it. Like I think Locksley has turned things around a bit. I think the culture is better, and I am a believer in Malik Washington and this young core of talent. And I think UCLA. We have to remember that they played an undermanned Michigan State team and a broken Penn State team. And I think like we knew coming into this season that even though they did have some talent, it was still not that talented. And so like at some point I think they're going to come back down to earth. And I think this might be the game that they start to come back. I don't think they're not going to hit the floor that they did. I'm not saying that they're New Mexico bad, right? But I think at some point they hit that like they start to recalibrate a little bit. And I think we also have to remember, like, yes, Maryland has to go cross country. It's not like UCLA is going to have the most intimidating home stadium. Like it,
Well, yeah,
like,
it's the travel more than the home stadium in this one. Yeah.
yeah, but like they don't, yeah, they don't have to deal with crowd noise. It is the travel, but that's only one. That's the main part of it. They don't have to deal with the crowd noise. So I just it's certainly still an advantage for UCLA. It's not as big as if say they were going to Autzen. So I I like Maryland in this game 31-24.
Mm. Yeah, you're going against the chat here. The chat is picking UCLA by a good amount. I got
Yep.
Philip saying 45-35, Sean 34-17. Appreciate when you guys put your scores in here. I forget to bring them up sometimes. John says 42-24.
Yep.
Yeah, and
This
then they're
is
talking about ticket prices.
this is your chance to catch up because like I'm picking a lot that you're not. So
Yeah, yeah. This is my shot. I got to take it. Got to
yep.
take it.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to
am
extend my
interested.
lead. No.
And Dank brings up that Maryland got the running game more going more against Nebraska last week. I'm interested to see how that plays out. That was my other kind of questionable like play battle that I thought of was like, what about this Maryland running backs or this Maryland offensive line? Because Maryland's offensive line actually has done a good job in pass protection this year. Oh, sorry, Philip. But they just haven't had the run blocking that they've needed
Mhm.
this year. So see, it's interesting. So, all right, let's see. Let's go to the next one here. Oh, really fast to remind you guys, have Around the Big Ten coming out Tuesday morning. Fun episode. Gonna have sunny, casual Big Ten and Matt Sheehan from Locked On Michigan State on
Mm.
this one. Very fun, guys. Even if you're not a fan of Illinois or Michigan State or any of those, it's still gonna be a fun episode. And tune in just to see casual Big Ten. All right, Kent, he's a great time. Love having him on, and he's going to come on for Around the Big Ten coming out Thursday morning. I'll set that to premiere at 9 a.m. Would love to have you guys watch that one.